So here we go. Let's watch this. This is a great video that I saw this morning. I'm going to take it off here for a sec. Great video. This is one of the best explanations I've heard of what's happening here in terms of the halving, in terms of Bitcoin. Just a really good explanation, really good outlook, and definitely worth a share. I did that wrong again. Just when I said I was getting better at multitasking. Okay, that's what we want. There we go. Okay, so let's check this out. This is a 2-minute video. This is the Kraken's head of strategy talking about the importance of this halving. I'm sure most people watching the show today understand what's happening with the halving, but the argument here is that this is the most symbolic Bitcoin halving because of the external factors, everything that's going on in the world with inflation. I'll let him talk about it. He does a better job than me.
Where do you focus your attentions?
So for me, I think of the takeaways for the Bitcoin halving and falling into two different spectrums. Firstly, it underpins why we believe Bitcoin is the soundest form of money. There's a whole host of reasons why on the demand side, things like global liquidity, 24/7, 365 market access, permissionless, censorship resistant, like all these nice qualities for why Bitcoin serves as a good form of money. But on the supply side, how reliably can you plan around a currency? And Bitcoin, because of the halving, that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in existence. And so on the second part of the takeaway here is that this Bitcoin halving in particular, we celebrate it every roughly 4 years, but this one is the most symbolic, in my opinion, in Bitcoin's history and even looking forward, because at a time when you have people who are looking at their conventional currencies, inflation, interest rates, and the economic environment that they live in, they see this alternative form of currency, Bitcoin, and it's something that has this really crisp story, this idea that as of tomorrow, when the halving takes place, 94% of all Bitcoins that will ever exist will have been mined. And less than 1%, we'll see less than 1% inflation in the circulating supply of Bitcoin going forward. So that's a really powerful story, I think, for people. Yes. And why the halving is so important.
Thomas, there will be a big section of our audience watching thinking, what has this got to do with me? Is there a chance that they wake up and global financial markets, the world, has been changed by this halving?
No, the halving in of itself isn't going to be a cataclysmic event. We're not talking about a rapture here. But what it is doing is it's reinforcing the narrative of Bitcoin as sound money. And in our opinion, the adoption of Bitcoin and of crypto takes time. This is something that is a very innovative technology. It's very different from how people use money today. And so this is something that's going to take place over 5, 10 years, 20 years, et cetera. And you're going to think of it as almost like a change in culture and a change in understanding of how people transact with one another. And so when we think about this halving in particular, nothing super special, but again, like an important milestone, particularly in this time and age. And we love to celebrate it.
Tomas, I want to get...
Tomas, damn. The man is speaking my language. I feel like me and Tomas would get along pretty well. Very well spoken, very well. Just, don't get too excited. Just use logic and facts. And when you do that, people seem to, enjoy it. So fun fact, actually, my real name is Tomas. No, Thomas. But my real name is Thomas. So maybe that's why we'd get along. So anyways, a couple things there that I wanted to just touch on. That was one of the best explanations I've heard of what's happening in terms of this halving, in terms of what we can expect, in terms of why Bitcoin is actually so valuable and so many people are missing out on this right now. But two things there is the 24/7, 365 market. People talk about the decentralization, the ability to settle instantly, all these different things, but having a 24/7 market, that's going to win. That's what happens in life. When things are better, when things are more efficient, it wins. So 24/7 market versus the stock market, which is 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Obviously, Bitcoin's going to win that. But then also the global market. And, if you've been watching the show, I talk about real estate all the time in terms of land, in terms of houses. And when you hold assets like that, you pigeonhole yourself into your own local market. Because if I wanted to sell this house today, I would have to find somebody locally who wants to buy a house in this area. It's a very small market. So you think about the turnaround there. If I was forced to sell this house tomorrow, or if I wanted to move somewhere, it takes time. It takes weeks, probably months. There's a lot of people that have to be involved there. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's a global market, global. So there's nobody in this area that has to buy my Bitcoin. I could sell it to somebody in Australia or somebody in Ireland. It's a global market, very easy, very liquid. And that's what you want. You want flexibility, you want liquidity. And Bitcoin, I think a lot of people sleep on that aspect of it. So big shout out to Moss for a great explanation of what's going on there.